Hey, welcome to the All Ambient podcast, everybody, where we dig into the creative process and we explore all things music and dig. What do I even say? What's the next thing? I'm going to start over.
Don't start over.
Everybody,
man.
welcome.
This is great. This is going so well.
We're good. We're good.
We chat about.
We're doing a
ambient
podcast, and we're extremely professional about this. We've done 100 episodes, and clearly it reflects in our ability to even talk through the first 3 sentences that we have said on regular occasion for a lot of them. Thank you for being here. My name is Mike Graff. I make music as Dear Gravity. I am joined by Ben Tatlow, who makes music as Antarctic Wastelands amidst a bunch of other amazing monikers. Marshall Usinger, who makes music as Be Still the Earth. And Kirk Smith, who makes music as We Dream of Eden. It is great to be here together with you guys, and super fun that we all have our individual projects that are doing well, and really excited about that. But this is, in fact, one of our all ambient collaboration episodes, and this is, I believe, or do we just say this is our 3rd collaboration episode that we've done now? Our 3rd collab.
That sounds right.
With our, in fact, our collab moniker, Soma Sova, now has, in fact, a 3rd release that we have pulled together for this week's episode of the podcast. And we're so excited about it. Excited about it, period, just because, and if you've tuned into any of the Roundtable collab episodes before, you will see some of the same things. If you haven't, go back and check them out for sure in the episode list. But this time, because we've already done a couple times, we didn't want to necessarily just rinse and repeat, even though the results have always been great. I love that we put a little bit of a spin on it this time. And I believe that spin began with a little brainstorm from Kirk, and then we kind of evolved it into what it became. So Kirk, do you want to tee us up in what, in fact, we put as far as fences around the collab thing that we did this time?
Yeah, I think it started off just, we all happened to have this thing called the Foldy tape, which is like a modified Walkman tape machine recorder thing. So very lo-fi.
Yeah.
It's got a speed control. Yeah. It's got a microphone. It's got a mic input. And you can kind of just really make some gnarly sounds with it really, really quick. And so I think we were exploring kind of the idea of introducing that type of limitation and kind of rawness to what we're doing to create some snippets. And then I think that just became a larger question of like, how do we introduce some real imperfection, real noise, real recordings that are not necessarily perfect and pristine, that then now we're exploring this idea of humanness. How can we create the most human version of, you know, what can be fairly in the box digital art form? And so I think that's kind of where we landed with the inspiration, which it had me thinking for weeks leading up to it. So that was always fun to kind of prepare my mind of like, what are the things that make it feel more human? So that was cool. Yeah, and that's kind of where we landed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's something to say. So this particular time around, so we did what we have done similarly as far as our schedule process goes. So we just because there's 4 of us, we take 4 days in a row, and we give ourselves like an hour or so or less. You know, if you need a little bit more, you need a little bit less, you know, whatever. But to take about that chunk of time and to put your touch on a track, whether you're the first person to touch it or the second person or the third person or the last person, but then you send it off to the next person, and that's the last time that you get to touch it. If you are the second person, you do not get to come back to it once it's out of your hands. If you're the one who started it, you got to just cross your fingers and hope that something cool happened. And something cool has always happened. I would be silly to imply anything otherwise. But that much of our process stayed the same, which is great. But I love that there was kind of this challenge, and you're right, with all the talk that all of us have had on what the humanness of the music that we create looks like and what it feels like, and how we can be intentional on making choices that bring those elements into what we do, to have those very human touch points be something that we're like, this is a good set of rules. We want to be capturing things outside of the box, like not just like, oh, here's my pristine mic setup into my the signal chain that it goes through and the preamps and all. Like, what can I do? What can I capture with my iPhone, with my Zoom recorder, with my sidecar? And how does that add a layer of like just audio quality, a layer of artifact, a layer of something that just brings character in a way that would not have arrived at if I went with just the clean crystal digital atmosphere. So that's not to knock digital, but we do enough in that lane that it's fun to get outside of it. So we did it. We did it, and here we are. I think the best route to go on this episode is for us to listen to the final song. We'll tee up. We'll just say, hey, here's this person's starter. And if they have anything to say right away, that's cool. Otherwise, we will listen to it, and then we can all just kind of reminisce about that song and what our particular parts were, how we did something kind of unique when we were working with it or whatnot. Is that probably the best way to do it? I think.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sounds
There's
great.
no one telling us it's not. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be great. And also, my memory is poor when I'm only touching a song for 60 minutes or less. It's like I don't even get it into my like deep access memory at that point. So like I'm barely. I worked on one this morning and I don't even remember what the one this morning sounded like. So this is gonna be fun. It's like ooh, we did a thing, and that's great. I love that we get to do this thing. So we are starting off with, I believe, the song that Marsh started. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you finished.
That's what we're doing
this morning.
Yeah,
I did finish, man. So I should
go.
be able to say something about this one. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Amazing, Marsh. Anything that you want to tee up before we hit play, or you want us to just rip it?
I think we just go into it, and then we can touch on whatever after.
Awesome.
See how we do.
Without any, let's dig right into our Somasova. We're just gonna call it the Somasova Sidecar Challenge. Is what we're calling it for right now.
nice.
So here we go. We have Marshall's Sidecar Challenge song. Here it is.
We're in play, baby.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Nice.
Wow.
That was nice.
Very nice, guys. Very nice.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
There it is. Song number 1.
I love this guitar tones.
Marsh, how'd that start? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I tracked two stems for that. One was the pad that I made with the sidecar. And I think, it is a little bit fuzzy how I made the pad itself. I think I tracked.
Was it labeled like micro loop or something? Did I make that up?
I don't know if that was this one.
I made that up.
That was another one, I think. But I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I just played something on my Juno and then just refed it twice because the sidecar's not stereo. So did 2 passes on that.
There you go.
And
I
then
like that. That's a good move.
Yep. And then I did some EQing just to kind of warm it up and take, not aggressive hiss happening too much. And then with the guitar, I have it's by, if you guys know Echo Fix, it's like the modern version of a Space Echo, the Roland 201. You guys know that thing, the Space Echo box. But I have the Echo Fix version, which is just essentially the same. It's a tape delay. What is great about it being that it's a newer machine is it has 4 tape heads, and each of those has a output that you can run. So I have each of those. Each of those going to a mixer where I can pan them and do whatever. So that's kind of happening with that guitar. Is
Okay.
the guitar's going to the foldy and then also to the tape delay, and then it's like panning while that's happening.
That's the magic. That's so cool.
And I
love that. Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that, Kirk, because I thought the guitar sounded, when I tracked the guitar, it was almost dry. Like I didn't really put anything. I don't think I put any reverb on it.
It was super dry. It was even dry because I was the last one to touch it, and it was still very, very. And that's drier than I typically. Even the final product is drier than like I would typically. But it sounded so cool that it was like, well, let's leave it.
Yeah, it had a lot of intimacy, and it was warm,
and that was really cool to hear, Mike, what you did. I mean, what happened to the guitar there too. I like how it still kind of had, I don't know, it still felt like there was some detail there, even though it was spaced out a bit. Like you weren't losing what was happening with it in the mix, I thought. So nicely done. Yeah.
Well, thanks. I think on that, I did another couple passes. I threw it through my external rig, and then just kind of had that laying down low, and it had sort of like that Sigur Rós sort of like rumble, which that's its own stem, and that turned out really cool. But the other one, I didn't create, like I didn't put any instruments on that one. I was just kind of messing around with the stuff that was there. And I think I took, so it wasn't, I didn't run it through the sidecar again, but I took Foldy. Also, it has a couple Ableton plugins. So he has a cassette tape Ableton plugin that is awesome, and like I'm Ableton based, so like it's all just like right there. I'm just going for it. But there's a couple different parameters on it that are so musical and so inspiring, like just like a dropout thing and this and that. And so I just kind of played, automated those like I was just sitting there, with a big old kind of like your tape delay, like just let's and up goes that and gets all weird and tried to do it in a way, because you kind of have that cyclical guitar part. I didn't want it to hit in the, like I didn't want to do something to it in the same way when you were playing it at that same way every time. And I think there was some kind of cool magic in that, where it certainly didn't feel like the guitar was just on repeat. Like it had a new life in it every time it came back around, and that was a lot of fun. So it was super cool.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
I like how that turned out. It's really cool.
Who put the chords in there? Did you bake them in from the start, Marsh, or was that somebody else along the way?
I didn't.
I did the piano.
Was that Kirk stub bass?
It was, yeah. Well, but see, I did the piano when I did like 257s, and then I had my iPhone just sitting on the top of the piano as a kind of like a mono. So then I basically, I did the iPhone in the middle, and then I, airdropped it back and synced it up with the clap, and so it's like a live performance with the bass notes, and then I kind of rode the sub underneath the
Yeah.
drops on the piano,
Which is really
which I like.
tasteful. Yeah.
Which I like to do that way.
So
It's like
so with your piano, Kirk, I saw that you'd done that, and I did something a little sneaky, which is that basically I cut the actual recording. I just used the iPhone one, but
Perfect.
I ran it through like pedals and like cut
Okay.
off a ton of that, the high end.
yeah,
And
yes,
just made it stereo basically. So I ran it through 2 shallow water pedals and kind of
Okay.
like rode those a little bit as it was going. Yeah, because I loved the tone it had. It was
Mhm.
all kind of like grungy and just
it's
Yeah.
like this compression that's like really actually nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
it was remarkable how kind of nice it was to work with when you kind of threw it. I basically threw it and then I threw it through another reverb, like external reverb as well. And yeah, I was really happy with how that, because I also like really what you're hearing in the final version is essentially what Marshall and Kirk wrote. Like I did not add a lot of stuff to it. I just kind of arranged it a little bit and
then I just phoned it in on this one.
Yeah. I added a few little subtle vocal bits, which I think Mike pulled right down in the mix, which is fine, which is great because I loved it when I received it on day 3. I loved the simplicity of it. I thought it was fantastic,
Yeah.
and so it was just like, how do I, amplify that and do some kind of just fun,
Yeah, no, it
tapey
sounds-
analog stuff.
Yeah.
The piano sounded beautiful. It's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
It's better than what I sent off. Sure. Thank you.
Well, it already like I don't think I'm waxing poetic here or just like attempting to say something when there's nothing to say. I know how each of us kind of sound in a sense, or like again, not that we are one trick ponies by any means, but just sort of where your preferred palette lands. Like I think we're all kind of aware of what each other does in sort of that sense, and I love how already, even with this first song, it feels like it is sort of beyond the challenge. The fences we put around the challenge are allowing us to sort of find certainly genre specific, but sounds sort of outside of our typical wheelhouse that just it doesn't feel like an amalgam of, the 4 different artists. It feels like something unique. And I love that. I love that, with all of our, experience and expertise and
Mm-hmm.
imagination and trying all the different things that we tried. Certainly our experience, lent itself to us dreaming up cool things to do, but it doesn't sound like a Ben song or a Kirk song or a Marsh song or a Mike song. It sounds like a Soma Sova thing. And it's great.
Yep.
It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Well done,
So nice.
everybody. Marsh, great
Yeah.
starter, man.
It was
Thank you.
fun. Thank
There
you.
we have it. Let's hope that the other 3 songs can live up to the glory of that first one. My goodness.
Let's hope so.
Awesome. Song 2 is the song that Kirk began and Ben finished. Exciting. Kirk, do you remember anything about this one, or should we just go into a cold turkey?
I think the only thing I remember is I kind of made an instrument out of single shots. So I basically did single shots on the sidecar,
Sweet.
and then I re-imported that into my thing. And then I did a single shot of a spread triad that was major, and I did a single shot of a spread triad that was minor.
Mhm.
But I think I ended up only using the major as kind of my drone. But I really liked the sound of just doing a spread triad and then kind of pulling in the sustain through some effects. I was like, okay, it's kind of like what I do a lot, but doing it with a real piano and a sidecar that, kind of has up and down voltage from batteries. It's like, it's just different. And it was exciting. So I like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dig right into Kirk Smith's Soma Sova's Sidecar Challenge song. Whole lot of artifact. It's really pretty.
Oh, that's nice.
let's go.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love
Amazing. All right.
Good job, guys.
There we
great.
go.
Wow, that one had me swimming, man. My goodness. Whew. Wow. I can't even tell what I put into that one. There was something for sure.
I heard
there
some
was a cello.
strings.
Some
Or
cello
some-
in
yeah.
there, yeah, Mike.
Oh, that was me, actually.
Yeah.
You put the cello in.
That was a cello.
Yeah, there,
Plot twist.
I thought that was Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
yeah, I was gonna say. I think I added strings to one song. But I don't think that was that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
put
love
I
it.
guess
a
that.
string in there, but
Nice.
I also put it through, not the Foldy, but I put it through my Chase Bliss Gen Loss pedal,
Okay.
Uh huh.
which is like their
Yes.
tape machine pedal. It wasn't doing anything crazy though. I just kind of put it in there to give a little saturation, warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I,
loved the cello. That was fun.
I took that cello and I ran it through a tape player. I like literally took it out.
Oh, you did?
Put it through a cassette. I've got it here. Like
Nice.
this cassette player, and then reran it in, and it's like really kind of
Amazing.
It sounds
cassetted.
great.
And yeah, I had to obviously filter stuff, but yeah, I liked how this one I was day 4. I liked how it was really just like kind of noisy, but in the best way. And so it was like, how do I kind of tame that but retain that feel, and also add some of that with the cello. I think I put the melody through some pedals as stuff as well, just to kind of also create a little bit of that. It was a pleasure to work on this on kind of day 4. And one of the challenges I set myself throughout this challenge was not to use any inbuilt, like any DAW based like effects apart from EQ. So like everything, like even reverb and stuff, I was trying to kind of push out of the box,
Nice.
which was a fun. Usually on like the final one, I will be like, oh, okay, I need to just add a bit of reverb here and there. So I tried to kind of push everything out to do that, which took longer than expected, but it was fun.
Yeah, I think, there was something really beautiful about. I mean, Kirk. I would assume that the piano thing was your original thing, right? With the 5/10, like the kind of
the little
that
rising
and that
sixths
melody,
or
sort of
whatever it
that
is.
interval
Yeah.
walking all over.
Yeah.
There's beauty in owning how simple it felt like the fences that you put around it were like, this is my interval, and I'll bend a little bit there, but what if I were to just sort of stick with this, and where can this go, and how can this build, and it felt like the rest of the song really kind of rose to the occasion to match what you had chosen to do melodically with that, and it all turned out really great together. Yeah, it was, and for it to land in a way where I'm listening to it and I'm like, I know the next notes I want to hear. I know, yep, and there they are, and then you're like, oh, and there are the next ones. Like it just that was very well executed. But it's like it's a simple move, but only simple in the sense of like you were daring enough to do it, and you were daring enough to do it, and you were genius enough to know, hey, this is going to be like the center of this thing, and I think it turned out great. So yeah,
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I mean, it was kind of one of those things where one of my limitations for this week was like, I'm going to do things in one take, especially like front to back. It's just, I'm going to do it one take, minimal editing, maybe velocity or volume things. But it's like, I didn't want it to necessarily be improvised either. I didn't want it to sound just like, I'm just playing things that I like to hear, which I like to do all the time, and that's fun. But it's like I'm gonna pick a shape, or I'm gonna pick a rhythm, I'm gonna pick an interval, and I'm gonna kind of improvise it. But I'm also gonna keep it contained without too many flourishes, and just see how you guys fill in the blanks is kind of, and you guys did great. So it's awesome.
I love with both these two that we've heard so far that they are quite, like, in some senses they're quite minimal, but they're very textured. And there's something about this challenge that has brought out both of those kind of sides to our kind of production and our creativity, which I think is really fascinating when we think about kind of human based, like really kind of trying to bring out the human on this. It's like, how do you do that? And there's kind of fewer choices and fewer kind of things that we have at our disposal to a certain extent. And that's kind of made it more minimal, but in the best way possible.
Agreed. It's good. Love that. Wow. All right. On to song 3. We're doing it. We're moving. That was awesome, Kirk. Well done.
Yeah,
we are on to Ben's starter. So we're swapping roles now. Ben began song 3, and Kirk, in fact, landed the plane on this one. Ben, do you remember what you did? You want to tee it up, or should we just go?
Let's see. Oh yes, I do. I do.
Oh yes.
I think I sent a message to Marshall about this. So I didn't create multiple stems. I just created one stem to start with.
Oh yeah,
sweet.
But it had multiple layers in it. So I did it completely out of the box, which is actually how I'm working with a lot of starters at the moment.
You were seeing that. Yeah.
This pedal called the slower zeros, but with an X, and you can have multiple loops kind of running there. So I have 2 kind of like guitar based loops, basically a kind of slightly left pan, slightly right pan one, which you can then pitch up and down, and you can reverse or whatever, throw it through extra pedals as well. And then I have another channel, which is like the mood pedal, which I've got like more of a pad on. So I have like 3 separate layers, which I then kind of essentially play during creating this starter stem. So I have no idea how much of that ended up in the final thing. I said to Marshall, hey, look, if you want to just take a short snippet of this and repeat it and do something completely different, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was not the easiest starter to work with, I'm sure.
I loved it.
Curious.
I loved what you sent over.
Fun.
When I heard what you sent over, I was like, dude, let's go. I loved it.
All right.
Well, wrap it.
I'm excited to hear it then.
Well, okay, let's dig into Ben's starter for our Soma Soma Sidecar Challenge.
Oh yeah, I think I recorded it all into tape as well. So yeah, that was that too.
Well done.
That is very cool.
Very nice.
Wow. Good job. That guitar.
Thanks, guys. You made it a lot better.
Oh man, that is so saturated. Just like
I love
banging
just
up
that one
against that gain wall, but
that
in
main bed
such a
was
cool way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you could take that same bed and wake up the next morning and make a whole new song from it. Like it was a really fun sound just to kind of sit with. I can't remember
Right.
which track it was, but
Right.
it was like the main, I guess the main guitar thing you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who added the kind of lead guitar, very saturated, very tapey? Is that you, Marshall? Or
The slide.
the
That
high?
wasn't me.
Mike?
You did the slide, right, Mike?
Mike did lap steel, right?
Lap steel.
You did
Yeah.
lap steel.
I did the way high. Yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm kind of surprised at how hot that lap steel wound up being in the mix because
I like it. That's really nice. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. No, it was fun. I had envisioned it not there, but like I liked the part I played, and it was fun to hear it come into context because it's one of those things where like if I were to, and that's part of the fun of this challenge, where it's like if I were to have finished it, I think I would have brought it down a little bit more and would have tried to give something else an opportunity to sort of fill some high frequency spaces. But it was fun to hear that particular element be carved into a spot where it did more of that, where it did more of that lifting itself, and yeah, that's again, that's kind of the beauty of these things, is that they're all all the answers are great answers, but it can be solved so many different ways that we're all like just very content with and very happy with at the end of the day, and I love that. That's just a very unique thing.
Yeah,
And
I liked it.
Ben, kudos to you for laying down something so, yeah, kind of what Kirk was saying, where like this is the sort of song where I almost envision this is kind of what Soma Sova sounds like to me, in a sense. And I only say that because your original layer didn't really dictate much of anything. Like it was just like, okay, go have fun. And we were all like, well, what are we going to do? And I think that there's something special to the sound that's just is kind of establishing itself, that without us really realizing it, I think that sort of Soma Sova feeling is coming together, and that felt like a good representation of it. So really pretty.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
think
everybody.
it's this really fun process of listening and reacting that I don't know that
Yeah.
you would get it any other way other than doing it the way we're doing. Even like collabing in a room with
Yeah.
people, and you're like scrolling through things or coming up and you're like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, oh, that's cool. It's like, we don't even have that to be like, oh, that's cool. It's like, you kind of really just have to you have to try to say something considerate to the next person down the line. And then they have to listen to it and then, react to it with their best judgment and taste and be considerate to the next person. And so it's like, I feel like that's part of the sound. It's that, like, even some of the melodies that I ended up doing were because I was hearing them either in one of the guitars, or so, like, it was combinations of melodies that were coming out buried underneath, and so it's like not necessarily even writing anything other than like just responding to the melodies in a different way that are already there. So that's fun.
Love
Yeah, the piano really kind of landed the plane and kind of gave that shape to the piece in a really beautiful way. Yeah, really loved it.
Amazing work, you guys. Oh, we have one more, and that one was started by me and finished by Mr. Marshall. This one I began on my Juno 6, which I don't think I've ever began a song on. I've played it on a bunch of stuff. I don't think I've ever started a song over this, or one that has gone to, the next stage of production. I've got some random ideas around, but I ran it through the sidecar and then did, I think I don't remember how many layers I did, but I did one where I sent it through some pedals and through, we were talking about mute math in the other episode that we just recorded, and I was using Greg was kind of notorious for using that Ibanez DE7 silly tone lock delay pedal. And so I was throwing it through that and just kind of scratch that itch and that sort of thing. But I think the part that I played was, how did I think of it? It's very simple. It was literally just like walking like 1, 2, 3, 4, like, a little slower than that. But I was like, first of all, this is not a melody that I would ever play myself. If I were doing a Dear Gravity thing, like I would, how creative can I be with, and I was like, okay, what, like the mindset of somebody who like is touching a Juno for the very first time and they're just like exploring what it sounds like. And of course that's very musical, like the first 4 notes in a scale, but I was like, I think that's just a good place to let other people get very creative with it and just see where it grows from there. So that was, my mindset was to kind of be in awe and wonder of, again, kind of a theme we're establishing, but just very, very minimal, very simple, and let the tone do a lot of the speaking. So, and who knows where it went from there. I don't know if we've even said that yet. We literally have no idea what these other people have been doing with these. It is just as much a surprise to the person who touched it at the beginning as anyone else. So yeah, anxiously anticipating what is about to happen. Here it is, song 4 of 4, the song that Mike started and Marsh finished. Here we go. I love that.
Nice.
That's really cool.
That's the intro for the record.
That is this tape player.
Kirk was like, I left in, you could hear Kirk fiddling with the piano. I like left that in there.
I was like, rolling on my chair to go sit at the piano.
I loved it. It worked with the clicks as well. It was just like, this is great.
Great work, y'all.
Dang it.
Love that one. Amazing. Who was playing? Was it the? Wait, was that piano and someone was just like pitch bending, or was that someone playing guitar and then slowed it down? And
I couldn't tell
and you were, like,
sometimes what
sliding
was the
around?
piano and what was the.
that?
There was a piano, but then there was that kind of that low, like.
So it was like Kirk's. So Kirk, your piano, because Kirk had a few piano takes. There was like a couple stereo takes and then a couple mono takes, and I sort of just like kind of glued those. And I think I ran one of the mono ones through. It might have been one or both the mono ones through the Foldy.
Okay.
With the piano, and then just kind of like brought those together so they weren't like too dominating. But then I did like a similar guitar thing to what I did on my starter with like the tape delay thing, and it kind of like sort of like I don't know, I felt like it accented the piano in a way where it kind of like blurred them together almost.
Yeah, it's like they're talking to each other about the same thing with different voices.
There were just those little moments where it kind of like jumped out a bit more and then back in, and yeah. It's kind of, I mean, I think that's what happened mostly.
Yeah.
So cool.
What did you do on that one, Ben? Remind me.
I was trying to remember. I definitely messed.
This is the
with
one he
Mike's
did nothing, and he didn't want us to call us out on.
Just passed it on.
It was a busy day, man.
That'll do. Just pass them on. I definitely created like some kind of backing, like the kind of reverse guitar stuff at the end was my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yep.
Which I think I had kind of like in a lesser way all the way through. It's kind of part of the kind of ambient pad backing thing now, which worked great. I messed with mic stems quite a lot. I think that was what I kind of threw a lot of pedals, and like that main pad I pushed through the shallow water pedals again and kind of gave it a lot of like weird warble and kind of like space and stereo stuff. And then I'm pretty sure I pushed some stuff through the sidecar, but I can't remember what I did. But it would have been a couple of loops which were kind of in there, I think.
Yeah.
I love how this ended up being like a whole bunch of like similar-ish things that just kind of like the piano and the guitars and everything, and they're kind of in there, and like you say, they're kind of talking to each other, and they all fit within the same space, but it just kind of works, and you've got these just different textures and layers just in there. It's really like, especially towards the end there, I'm like, I want to listen to this again. That's like really interesting and really cool to listen to.
Yeah.
This is probably a bad analogy. I already know it is. I'm just going to label it as such before I even say it. But, and maybe it's the bending pitch guitar or piano or whatever it was that's making me think of this. But there was in like, in the 1995-96 classic Super Mario 64. There was one of the levels had music that was kind of that sort of thing, and like that was the first game where it just felt like everything was so expansive and you could run around everywhere, and it was this whole new thing. But the way that I heard that song is it kind of felt like this is kind of a dumb analogy and it's pretty geeky too. But it's like if you're in a video game and I'm also listening to the audiobook Ready Player One over again. So I've probably just got video games on the mind right now.
Nice.
But like you're looking around, and if the game designer and like everyone involved has done their homework and like put in the extra work, like when you are tilting towards something, for something to show up in a certain spot on the stereo field and to be louder when you turn this way or when you do that, like it kind of felt like I was just sort of sitting in a field. And again, like whether it's Mario because of that little pitch bend or just pick whatever game you want, it just kind of felt like you were looking around, and like all those different little artifacts, you're just kind of noticing them as you're just sort of like taking in your surroundings, and I think the song still like went somewhere with that type of the long chord progression or the couple chords that switched, but yeah, I loved the idea of like, let me just explore over there and let me just explore over there. It felt very which wasn't, I don't think that's where I would have ever guessed it was going to land. And I love that. I love the kind of the opening up the birthday present of that. That's really cool. Well done, guys. This episode is brought to you by the Nintendo 64.
Yeah. I do like how, Ben, I think you said earlier, but maybe after the second one, but just hearing the four all together, I mean, it's such a cohesive sound. Like the stuff we've done before, right? It has probably a sense of cohesion to it, but I feel like just the overall kind of, like texture and warmth of each track and how they kind of complement each other. It's kind of awesome just to hear how they sit together as a collection of a few tracks. It's really cool.
The fun of us doing a cool challenge like this is that, in fact, you can go listen to all four of those songs in their mastered format wherever you stream music. They are out in the world right now. And again, a giant congrats and well done to Ben and Marsh and Kirk for contributing. Every time we do this, it feels unique, it feels fresh, it feels like a challenge. Like there's work involved, but it is a fun work, and it is just different enough from how I typically approach things that I feel like I am in a consciously different place in a good way, and I love that this project brings that out. So love being a part of that, and I love that Soma Sova Volume 3 is now out in the world. At time of recording, I don't even know what we're going to call the EP, but hey, go stream it, and there's a EP name out there somewhere. So enjoy it. It's all yours.
We'll pop it in the show notes as well.
There you go. Exactly. Just blah, blah, blah. But absolutely love it. Great job, everybody. Soma Sova.
Yeah, well done.
The ambient supergroup that is, I get to call it supergroup because it's totally a joke, but I love that the four of us get to do this and that it turns out as cool as it does. So great job, everybody.
It's a lot of
Hooray.
fun.
Yeah,
yes.
Good job, guys.
Good work. Yep.
Thanks again for joining us on the All Ambient podcast. This is about as shameless of a plug as it gets, but it really does help for those of you who are watching to give us a rating if you're on any podcast platform like Apple or Spotify or anything like that. On YouTube, we would love a follow, a subscribe, a like, all that fun stuff. And please leave a comment, a review, whatever is applicable to the right place that you're finding this. It really does go a long way. You don't have to make anything up by any means, but if there's some value in this podcast for you, we'd love to hear about it. We, as the All Ambient family, would love to meet you. I know it does my heart good, as well as everybody else who's involved at All Ambient. So please do so. Come back and join us next week. We got another great episode coming your way. And until then, here's hoping that this music and the hearts behind it make your day and your life that much better. Thanks.